In this unit of our InDesign CS6 course, we're going to place and format text that will be on the front of our business card flyer, starting with the name and phone number information in the second panel, the address information at the very bottom of the fourth panel, and then the bulleted description information that we have for our Total Training Online All Access Annual Subscription. Let's begin with the type for our name and phone numbers. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Command D since I'm working on a Mac in this chapter of our InDesign course. If you're on a Windows PC, the keyboard shortcut would be Control D. And what we're going to do is we're going to double click on businesscardname.rtf. When you open this, don't worry if you get a font warning, because we'll be changing this font shortly. When I do that, my selection tool changes to a place cursor, and I can put that over to the left margin of my second panel, about a third of the way down from the upper margin guide, and click the mouse button. When I do that, you'll see that my text goes all the way from the left to the right margin, and that it actually goes all the way down to the bottom of the fourth panel at that margin. Whenever you click the cursor, what it does is it fills from margin to margin for a column and then all the way down to the bottom of that column. Now this is a lot larger text frame than we need. We'll adjust that a little bit later. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my type tool over here out of the tools panel. I'm going to go anywhere inside the text and I'm going to click to place the cursor. Then I'm going to go Command A on the Mac or Control A if I'm working on a Windows PC. We're going to change that font from Cambria, which is what it was as it was brought in from the word processing program, up to Arial. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to make it regular weight. We're going to change the font size from 12 points to 7 by double-clicking inside that number and just typing the number 7. Then we're going to go down to the leading, where that's set as 14.4 points, and we're going to change that to 7. Now you'll notice that we don't have an option for 7 here. It shows 6-point or 8-point leading. That's no problem. All I have to do is, once again, double-click inside that number and change it from 8.4 to 7, and hit the return key, and what it'll do is it'll make that type smaller. Now, it's not very easy for me to see that type, and of course I've got this much larger frame to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my selection tool. I'm going to go to the bottom center anchor point, and I'm going to bring that up to the bottom margin for that second panel, that guide that we set right there. Then I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Command 4 on the Mac. We'd use Control 4 if we were working on a Windows PC to bring this up to 400% display view percentage and to be able to see that type that we're working with very easily. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this type for our fictional John Smith and I'm going to make that type for this line larger. Then I'm going to take that type and make it bold. I do that not by going to the type tool this time, but by simply double-clicking inside the text frame. You'll notice when you do that, that the cursor changes from your selection tool to your type tool. And then I'm going to click 1, 2, 3 times to highlight the entire line. Once I've done that, I can take this type and I can change it from 7-point type to 10-point type. Now I'm going to take that type and I'm going to change it from Arial regular weight to bold. And I'll have that bold strong type. You can change it to bold from the pull-down menu in the control panel just under the font menu as well. Let's go to the second line where we have Marketing Manager. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the right side of that. I'm going to hold the mouse button down to drag it to the left So I highlight the entire line of type, and I'm going to change this font weight, not from the control panel, but I'm going to do it over here from the side dock by clicking on my character panel button. As I've got that set, I can change this weight from Arial regular to Arial bold italic, just like so. Now if I look at the rest of this type here, where I have the 2 phone numbers and the web address, it fits kind of tight. I'm going to highlight all this text, and what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to change the leading space from 7 points to 9 points. And when I do that, that gives us a little bit of extra space that makes this card a little bit easier to read. Now we have one more thing we need to do before we're finished with this block of text. We need to take all this type and we need to align it to the right. I'm going to highlight this, and I could do that from the control panel, paragraph formatting controls, by simply clicking on this Align Right button. But instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the side dock and I'm going to select the paragraph panel, and I'm going to click on that button right here, Align Right. And what that'll do is that'll take all that type and align it to the right.